Punishment. Here's something amazing to recognize, which is not intuitive to many people. About punishment, people are too strong to be punished. And if a person is not for you to punish them, and I mean, they can be punished by life in different ways, because life is much more powerful than an individual person, but people are too strong to be punished by you, whoever you are, in a generic sense. And anybody that you can punish, they'll probably have, I'm trying to say this in like a positive way, which is empowering, not disempowering, but anybody that you can punish is probably not worth punishing, because they probably are at a stage in life where they're just struggling a lot, and it's not helping you or them to punish them necessarily. So what do I mean by this? Let me unpack this a little bit. Like, life is a lot bigger than what we expect. Like, a lot of people want to be big fish in small pond. They want to micromanage, they want to control, they want to manipulate. I mean, there's a lot of people that do that. They do it either actively, by being aggressive, or they do it passively by being passive-aggressive, where it's like they withhold resources, I mean, that can be effective in small doses, but not to really high-functioning people in large doses, because people just get tired of it. The idea of punishment is kind of like a thing, like someday we're going to say surgery is kind of barbaric. We're going to have like one of those Star Trek tricorders where we just heal people instantly or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of things that were done in the past that were considered, acceptable or kind of advanced thinking, but at later time became obsolete or even barbaric. And I think that punishment is, I'm not saying it falls totally in that category, but I think in this age of technology where, like, when we're like all around the stars, and like when you're in a small environment, then it's kind of like people are more beholden to each other a little bit. But when you have, like, say, a trillion people, spread out across the galaxy, then, it's like the idea of punishment is like kind of like, one-on-one punishment is it's just the scale is bigger. That's what I'm saying. It's like, as you expand, you need higher forms of social, relations and cooperation, collaboration, avatars, holograms, whatever it is. It's going to be like, the idea of punishment is going to seem like so small, because it's like, how do you punish a trillion people? I mean, you'd have to be so big. And I think, like, as you get bigger and bigger in your thinking, the idea of punishment just seems like so small. Like, they say you can't keep someone in a ditch without getting in the ditch with them, and I think a lot of people think small. I think punishment is kind of a small thought. It's kind of like, well, I can control everything. But as you get bigger, as you get more mature, you realize that, questions just lead to more questions, and that, the amount that you know is so minuscule compared to the amount that you don't know. I mean, that's why I talk about space and everything. Like we live on one tiny little planet and one tiny little solar system and one tiny little galaxy. I mean, we're like a speck of nothing, almost nothing. I mean, it's like, and humans themselves, like, are, I don't know what, maybe, I'm just guessing, I have no idea, a few million years old, in a galaxy that by itself is like billions and billions and billions of years old. So the amount of time that we've been here, and then even throughout human history, like modern humans, in terms of like having like advanced technology, and the advanced technology of today might seem very primitive in the future, like when we're flying around the stars and everything like that. But be that as it may, it's kind of a matter of perspective. I mean, like, they say there's two ways to succeed in life. One is to like build the biggest building, and the second is to destroy everyone else's building. I think, like, the idea of punishment is kind of like destroying everyone else's building. Like, I'm not saying there shouldn't be any accountability. Like, I think we do need police, when people break the law. Although, like, obviously now with the protests, we have to make sure that the police are doing, a much better job. A lot more training and a lot more accountability. I mean, just like people have to be accountable to the police and the society, the police have to be accountable to the society also, and not doing things they're not supposed to do. But I mean, I do believe in some degree of accountability. I do believe in, some jails for some people, although I think jails are overused. So I'm not saying like, corrective action is inherently bad, because we can't just have anarchy when people are just doing, whatever they want. But I think that as I'm saying, as we scale bigger and as we think bigger, the way, like fear can motivate people. Like they say, is capital punishment a deterrent? I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm not an expert on that. But I think, love and growth is more of a, once you reach a certain level, more of a motivator than fear. Like they say people are, motivated by fear because then they never want to stop trying because they're afraid they'll fail. Yeah, to a point, but that leads to burnout. It's like one day you're going to get up and you're going to be like, I'm tired of being, afraid and fearful all the time. I don't care if I succeed or not. But if you're doing what you naturally love, and you just go through the days, it's like, oh my gosh, that was 24 hours. I thought it was an hour. I mean, if your work and your play is the same. So, as we get into bigger and bigger mindsets, the idea of punishment, I think, is going to become, maybe not ridiculed, but it's going to be like, that's a thought, but, there's probably like much more effective ways of doing things. Like, punishment in the extreme form is kind of like maybe aggression or violence. Like there's a famous saying, I think it's from science fiction, that says, violence is the last bastion of the incompetent. And I think, if you extend that out, it's kind of like people that try to force other people to do things, whether it be through punishment or violence or whatever it is, those are people that like have a limited tool set. It's like they say, if all you have is a hammer, then the whole world looks like a nail. Like if you have a limited mindset, then maybe you just want to punish people. But if you're smarter, the smartest people in life, they cajole, they flatter, they reward. Maybe there is a little bit of carrot and stick, but if you're just over-reliant on punishment, it means you have a lack of tools, effective tools in your repertoire.